John Lex Robinson, the founder of the Veros Group, based out of Ohio, Westerville, Ohio.
That's
been
correct.
A long time since I've been in that neck of the woods. Yeah.
It's a good area to be. It's a little chilly right now. Getting dark sooner than normal, but no, we love it. So,
that's great.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's our pleasure. Absolutely our pleasure. And like I've mentioned twice already, David will be dropping in here just as soon as he wraps up.
Oh, no struggles.
This other piece. I mean, it's herding cats. We're juggling balls all over the place here. So, you brought out a new book, and I say new book, August of this year, and I'm fascinated by just the topical focus of this. AI is on everybody's radar right now. And I have spent probably the last 48 years working in the field, if you will, of leadership and leadership development, and the challenges that leaders face when change is afoot.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not that it's fast; it's just that it's infinite and consistent now.
Yes,
absolutely. In terms of change, and what I was really after there, and what I'm really after with the Veros Group is, I'm looking to ensure that we're developing what I would call human-centric leaders, right? To ensure that what we're really doing with what we develop and how we develop and the products and services that we put out actually serve us well. I think there's a lot of examples in modern society, and we don't need to go through all of those, where technology that we've put out is actually maybe not performing the way that we wanted to. I think social media is the easiest example of that.
Yeah.
And frankly, over at least the last 10 to 15 years, and it's probably my whole career in technology, we've never really done a great job of ensuring that our leadership skills in the technology services space keep pace with the technology that we're putting out. It's like we've created all this capability, and now we need to really learn and understand, how do we manage this and shepherd it moving forward.
Yeah, and those two pieces, manage and shepherd, I think come into play here. And I was struck, when I was reading some of the great notes that our team puts together prior to these shows airing, with the work that you've been doing. And I just I didn't mention the title of the book. I do want to get the title of the book in here because it's germane to what we're talking about. Executive 2.0. Human leadership for the digital age.
Yes.
That in and of itself, I think, is worth emphasizing. Human leadership.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Age. Yeah. And it's on the cover for a reason, right? Because a part of my own personal belief system, I never want to create a fear bubble around AI. Yeah. But what I do want to do is say it's important that in technology specifically, we establish ourselves as leaders for that whole shepherding of AI. I want us to remain in charge. I want human beings to make the decisions. I want us to understand the impacts that we're having on others and make decisions appropriately in that lens. Because what you see happen a lot now is we're actually being led by the machine. So that's my nickname for AI, right? So we're being led by the machine. We're not leading it. And that may be fine for everyday uses and examples of that. Like, just look at how Amazon sells you things. It's fascinating. It's incredible. But that's being led by a machine. That's not being led by a person.
Exactly.
All I want to do is make sure that we keep the human in that loop and that we put them fully accountable and in charge of what we're doing.
Well, which speaks to emotional intelligence. And part of what you're doing, and I'm looking forward to actually opening the book. The idea of kind of how we think. This is where we're looking at peak performance, neuroscience, these sorts of things, emotional intelligence. And I made this comment, when we were filming in Las Vegas yesterday, to a comment that somebody else had made around communication. And the comment was, most people think of communication as being a logical process. Let's get the data and the facts in.
Right.
Communication is actually a biological process.
Yeah.
And it's it all organizes around meaning making.
Absolutely.
when that's in place and leaders understand that, yeah, communication hasn't happened unless common meaning has been established.
That's right.
Then we've got a basis to actually do something with. And in technology, that oftentimes gets missed because we default, in my experience, to the data set and said, well, let's let it run and see where we go.
Of course we do. I mean, I'm traditionally trained as an engineer as well. And as engineers, we think we can put in place perfect processes and perfect procedures. And if everybody just does this, we'll be just fine. But just like in the AI realm, which is really pulling this out now, AI functions incredibly well in a static environment with static data. But the moment I include randomness, which means people, right? The machine doesn't get meaning, to your point. I get meaning. I assign meaning to even the results that I get from a chat GPT conversation or from some interaction with another model. And it's us that are assigning meaning. And I think that's why, not to go down a dark rabbit hole here, but I think this is what people sense when they interact with AI, particularly the LLM models, and they get uneasy because they're not sure if they should trust it or not. And that's because there's no connection to the creator in the background.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just a huge part. And I think being able to make those connections, like the one that we're making here, a real conversation, is people are starved for it, and particularly people that are looking for great leadership.
The idea of leadership, I want to, this topic has fascinated me for, almost 50 years now, because some organizations seem to really thrive and other organizations, they just don't rise to the occasion.
That's right.
And it's attributable to the way that the leadership function actually exists within the organization.
Yes.
How do you define leadership?
I'm going to keep that really simple. People are willing to follow you. With no followers, you are not a leader. And I would make the suggestion that part of the reason that's happened, particularly in the technology space, is we don't develop leaders, because what we do instead is we say, Lex is a great engineer. David's a great developer. I'm now going to go put them in charge of the developers and the engineers, but I'm not going to support them in learning leadership skills.
Yeah.
And so that's really the gap that we're trying to fill and say, look, the skill set's completely different. Leadership is a set of skills, right? So I would add that to the definition. It's a certain way of being. It is the ability to connect and communicate, creatively solve problems in conjunction and collaboration with others. That's really how I begin to expand that out.
Yeah. That idea of it's a way of being. I mean, the old saw about leadership presence really is a valid way to organize around.
Absolutely.
The ethics. I'm really fascinated on your take about this. The ethically grounded in the use of AI. When I look at ChatGPT as an example, when I look at Gemini, when I look at a couple of some of these large LLM models, the guardrails have been deliberately taken off.
Yes.
From an ethical perspective, in terms of how they actually function. Claude actually probably has more constraints around it than some of the others do.
Yes.
How do you square that circle when we're looking at the use of this?
And I know the arguments are made to free all that up for the sake of freedom.
Yeah.
And free expression. And I kind of get it. But when that expression can become damaging to people and they don't even know it, that's kind of where I begin to draw the line. Yeah. Now, I borrow from like the Stanford D School when it comes to thinking about design and ethics and implementation, right? To be able to say all design work and implementation and development work needs to start with and end with empathy and understanding of the client, consumer, whoever I'm trying to serve, all the way through that process to how I test it and actually looking at the results and saying, what impact am I having? And frankly, that exists almost nowhere in anybody's development model for software development. Does it ever say a requirement is do no harm?
Yeah. Thank you.
And that's really how ethics needs to get wrapped in there from my perspective. That's the shortest version of it.
God, we've got a couple of other shows. This is such a short form interview segment. I want to have you back on my show. I've got a couple of others as well. The soul of business, because I think this speaks to the soul of business. How you keep
absolutely
the vibrancy of the organization actually intact as you start moving down, whatever pathway you find yourself moving down. I apologize that David hasn't been able to break free right now. We will have you back again when he is available. But in the meantime, I do want to get you scheduled next year for one of these other shows, if you're open to it.
Absolutely. And I'm totally grateful for it. This is a conversation we need to be having, and I'm just happy to find people that want to have it with me.
Perfect. John is at the Viros Group, and it's VIROS. So the Viros Group, and Gigi has just put that up on the screen here. So check him out. Check the book out. The book is called Executive, and that's with an X. Executive 2.0, Human Leadership for the Digital Age. Have a great holiday season, John, and thank you very much for
you bet. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.